Alrighty, welcome back. We are going to play around. First of all, we're going to start generating our chunks dynamically. We're not going to be statically creating them with this next lab. Next of all, this lab, by the way, is mostly from the hip. We're going to add some more shapes, fences. I don't know, it might not be much more than fences. We're also going to add some solid water. So you'll be always walking on the water. You have to put water on a different level in Unity, different mesh, so you don't have a collider type mesh collider. Instead, you will have a trigger type mesh collider. And then we are going to, we're doing this mainly, like I said, from the hip. So no pre-written content. I think I'm going to give you some more shapes from Blender, and we're going to mess around with our textures, hopefully. Unless I forget. I do need to write down what I'm saying. So this should be entertaining. Mainly we're trying to max out our memory. Trying to, like I said, make Unity cry uncle. And hope to see you in the rest of the tutorial. Let's go. So first up in Unity, click on Single Labs, create a new object, call it HS Lab 3 Common. We will create one chunk as a prefab. Now go down here to voxel, not voxel, hexagonal. Get my tutorial straight. Add a new folder, H single lab 3. In here, create 2 C# scripts, HS lab 3. Wait till Unity refreshes. Then HS lab 3 common. And yeah, these are going to be at first straight copy and paste of 2. HS lab 2 for the moment. But we will definitely be open changing them. Copy all of HS lab 2 and paste it over HS lab 3. Then in HS lab 3, do a find and replace. Get annoyed by find and replace because it always wants to go to select mode. There we go. Now do the same for HS Lab 3 Common. Select somewhere like right there, and our same items should be still in the box. There we go. So we're not going to run a test on this because we're only going to have one chunk. Really no reason to. Drag the HS Lab 3 script onto the HS Lab 3 common script onto the HS Lab 3 common object, and drag the HS Lab 3 script onto the HS3 Lab object. We are going to go ahead and set this up though. Alrighty, let's see here. Drag all our controls down here. Select our 3 buttons. It's still on our other common because we just haven't changed it yet. Update the methods. In this, we will do a test release to go through all the errors you get from the development stuff, how to hide all that stuff. Alrighty, that looks good. Let's set up our materials. For right now, it's the same 4, but we will bringing a few more in, because we got to finish the shader tutorials also with this one. I'm going to put paths in this. And set our mesh library, set our character camera, create our material presets, RAS 3101, dirt 3111, black, there we go. What else do we need here? Preview material. That's created automatically for us. There's our preview material. We're ready to go generate. See ya in the next video. Alrighty. I'm going to close down the HS Lab 2 stuff. I'm going to jump up to the very top, and I'm going to make this no longer static. We need to be able to set this from the editor. And that immediately causes some errors over here, which I can find and replace them. I laugh at my errors. I just laugh in the face of my errors. So we need to be able to set this in the editor. And now we can. We need a new method in the common, a new state called generate. Because we're going to generate our chunks themselves now. And we don't want to check chunks while we're generating. Because the initial value of the chunk will go from the chunks generate to waiting. And we don't want to start processing them until we generated all of them. So I'm going to create a new method in the chunk called generate. Put it up at the top. Put it wherever you want. It won't really matter. It's a use case. Switch case, whatever. It's a use case. Generate. And I need to set that state to paused while it's generating. So, first thing I need in my generate is my chunk span times my chunk span. My chunks will be equal to square that. We need to get rid of something else also. We need to get rid of that right there. Don't need to get our current chunks because we will get that one prefab chunk. Oh, I guess I just kind of warned myself that I was getting something up here. Public HS Lab 3 prefab chunk. It's like you're forgetting something. Okay. So, from the int of n is equal to 0, n is less than the count, plus n. Alrighty. Let's see here. Do I have all this in here? Yes, I do. The n is actually the index. So, we're going to, if I can type, instantate a prefab chunk, make a prefab chunks transform.parent. Is there a set parent? Yes. Is equal to my transform because I want you right underneath me. Go ahead and say right now you are equal to chunk. Now my chunk, I'm going to get the CR out for my n, my chunk span out my chunk dot column and my out my chunk dot row. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and set the chunk state equal to generate. I also want to set the chunks common, in this case, equal to this. You're this guy's child. Is there anything I'm forgetting? Like I said, I'm doing this by the seat of my pants. And then after this, I'm going to set my state to update because they should all be generated. I mean, the generation is very fast, and we are inviting a race condition if we create a whole bunch of chunks. That's why you want to look at my class I'm pulling when I get finished for you, Demi. But this really should be good. I think all the way up to 25 or 30 chunks by 30 chunks. And that's 900 chunks total. That's a big world. Especially in Hexagon where everything's scaled. That could easily be, half the size of the United States to the size of the United States. Because first of all, you're going to click on the chunk to scroll down to zoom into it in a Hexagon world. And then now once you're there, you're going to have another map for that Hexagon. Think that's it. I'm going to go. I'm already living La Vida de Loca right now. Via Loca. So, I'm just gonna, what did I forget? Oh, map scale. Oh, well, this is in the start. We do have something here. We have an entire new method. Okay. That add in over here. Maybe I didn't totally forget it, but we need to, I'll put it up here. I believe it's where I have it. Initialize. And initializing. Because all of this cannot take place until everything's set. So basically what happened here is before we set our common, was our chunk already set at gen? Well, anyway, when it ran the start. So as soon as we, I believe as soon as we set our parent, it ran start, and start couldn't run yet because there is no common yet. Now we do have to set our map level. I did forget that. I really forgot that. But overall, we can't really do this. We got to, and we can't have actually a method called initialize. We'll do a little bit of code cleanup here. Maybe actually bring in nugget mode. Control M O. Get rid of this unused code that we replaced last time. I'm going to keep handle input around for the nugget mode stuff. And let's see here. Private void initialize fields. That's pretty much it. You go down there. Update case initialize and state is equal to initializing initialize break. And then at the bottom of our initialize, state becomes generate. Alrighty. Get rid of all of you. Okay, and so now we're going to say initialize. Initialize. And when something is totally clear, you're missing something. Ooh, look at that. Of course, our prefab hasn't been set yet. So, boom. Alrighty. Gotta hide the prefab, but we're not getting an error now for some reason. Because you're now on generate. And it's all ready to jump. Got to turn them on. What's wrong with me? Last thing down here. Dot set, or what is it? Active. Game objects set active true. Now let's see. Do we have an error or not? Ooh. Should see pretty much exactly what we had before. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Everything is good. Current memory is the same as it was before. Before we jump forward, bite the bullet. 10 chunks by 10 chunks. Ooh, look at it. Starting to look, well, I have the common selected. And the editor goes nuts with that. Not really no memory at all. I mean, we more than doubled that value. It's because a lot of that is base, is the base value. So like I said, we can get pretty big with this. Someone already told me that it sounds like I'm just trying to huck a Udemy course I haven't written yet. No, you can get really big with this. You can create a very nice world. But with that, ooh, oh, look at it. So that is a little bit bigger than Minecraft's view span. And now you understand why Minecraft's view span is so important. Still generating. Still generating. But our RAM is not bad at all. Let's see here. What's our stats now? Ooh, because we got so much out here. Look at us. Now there we go. It actually picked up. So that was your level load. And you see the whole reason, well, not the whole reason, but a huge reason that you need to do pooling is that the engine cannot really handle that much graphics with all of these different everything. I wonder if we got any split meshes. I don't think so, because I believe we have the maximum vertice value set to a high number. All right, so let's go to the ground. A little bit too much gravity there. So with no scale here, this is a huge world. So let's see. Let's bring up calculator. So I'm going to do everything in imperial dimensions. We have 16 nuggets wide times 0.75 times 4 feet wide a piece. Actually, they're more like 3 feet wide to me. Times 25. We have a view span of about a quarter mile, fifth of a mile. 5280 divided by. So yeah, you're a little bit under a quarter of a mile. But when you consider that hexagon is normally used for, first of all, the main map, then the child maps, that's still, and I'm running at an incredible speed right now. When I calculate it, the speed of how fast I'm going, if these are 4 foot apiece, I'm running about, I think, 60-something miles an hour right now is how fast I'm walking. I'm holding down the shift key. All right, let's do one more. Let's take it all the way to 30. And RAM, with single common, RAM we're just doing incredibly great on. You know. What's our distance here? So 16 times 0.75 times 30. Did I do that right? So actually it's 12 times 30 chunks, yeah. Times, yeah, I'm doing that wrong somewhere. Oh, times 4 feet. Times 4 feet. It's 280 divided by. So now we're looking at a larger than quarter mile span here. Our RAM is doing incredibly great. Frame rate, once again, it's knocking down to real game frame rates now, because we don't have that short span anymore. Gravity's fine. So you got to take in consideration the hardware of the game, of the person that's playing the game. think next we are going to go ahead and put our button into place to generate and to regenerate, and then do a build, because we want to go build. The first build is going to be really annoying, I think, because we got to go through and comment out all of our editor references. And we're going to use Xbox on the PC Xbox plugin. That's what I'm going to use to get my FPS. And we're going to see what the real-time FPS is, with 60 FPS being the normal, being the best on this machine. So shouldn't have any problem with that at all. Okay, I said we wasn't going to do any more, but I'm trying to make Unity scream here. So let me save everything. Deselect, do not have this selected. I'm telling you, when you start playing around with this and you come into Unity, Unity is using Microsoft Reflection or whatever they use on Macintosh, and they're looping through the chunks, although you don't have them expanded, and they're looping through the nuggets of each chunk. And when you have the parent level selected, that's just like having all of those chunks selected. So it's using reflection and just tearing through all of it. And you will bog down to nothing. Whenever I forget it on a video, I have to come over here and select it real fast or it will slow down my screen. So I'm going up to 40. 30 by 30 was 900 chunks. 40 by 40 is 1600 chunks. Let's just see if this can run. I might go upstairs, get a cup of coffee, cook lunch. I don't know, maybe go out and wash my Harleys. Let's see. Talk to my neighbors. Okay, it wasn't that slow. So, first of all, our RAM. RAM increased, and this isn't our local RAM. Our RAM's always exactly the same. This is Unity's RAM for all of these meshes. Be very careful and just expand it to look, and don't select nothing. It's not so bad just to select something, but while it's generating, just don't do it. And there's all of our chunks. Let's see here. And 40 by 40. Yeah, that's 1600, isn't it? 40 by 40. Yeah, 1600 chunks. Is how many chunks we're going to have over here. Huge span. And it's still generating. Yeah, it's still generating. You can probably see it better over here in the scene view. Yeah, players are going to get annoyed waiting this long for a casual game to load. Kind of see it becoming more and more square. But we know that it's long because it's hexagon. It's longer than it is wide because hexagons are not square. So a common really is only for about 25 chunks total, or 5 by 5. It's finished. Wonder how much that is. So, first of all, 12 is our actual width is 12 times 4, which is 48, times 40, which is 1920. 5280 divided by 1920, almost a half-mile span now. And we're not killing ourselves on the RAM yet. But look at our FPS, and I have nothing selected here. It's horrible. It's trying to render all of that. It's this huge distance. It can't handle it. And Unity has all these chunks. Now, there's not a game object for each nugget. If anyone's just jumping in and considering taking these tutorials, no, each nugget are welded together with our own custom method. But look at this. Did you see the frame rate jump? Just by hiding the other stuff? It's trying to jump. It's actually still trying to jump. But there it goes. It's back down again. So our editor's looping through stuff right now. Everything is just going nuts, but our RAM is great. So this is double Minecraft's view span, if you're doing the math. This is more than double. We're 25 in each direction, or 20 in each direction. Yeah, we're 40, so we're 20 in each direction. All right, we got to do it. We got to try one more. 50s, the last one. No more after 50, because this is just, I don't feel like we are making Unity whimper right now. 50 should make it cry uncle. Should be the end of it. Our frame rate is still great. If we stay under it, our frame rate will be great because Unity's just culling everything. But the more chunks we get in there, the more stuff Unity has to render. And although we are pre-culling our back faces and our hidden faces, some people keep calling them back faces. They're not back faces, they're hidden faces. We're pre-culling our hidden faces. Unity's culling our back faces for us. But we are getting rid of all the faces that are hidden. We're getting rid of them if they're only halfway hidden. Actually, our FPS is doing great right now. And I think you're going to find that when we go to do our test build in the next video, actually we'll do the setup in the next video, our actual build should have a much better frame rate. I might be wrong for some strange reason, but in every case thus far. And we're actually outrunning. It's still building. And we're running across right now. So right now you are into the world of Heroes of Might and Magic in a 3D way. Or Warcraft 3. Well, I don't know how good your artist is. I don't know if you want to buy your models or you whatever. But you're... Oh, I think we're finished. Wow. And look at our frame rate. So that is Unity. Because we are looking at... There's nothing out here. We jump over here and look at us because there's stuff in front of us. And Unity's having... That's what I was talking about with the shaders. Unity is having to figure out what to show and what not to show. There's just a huge span over here. So you can do some culling yourself by just determining how close a chunk is to the player. And you can render a whole bunch more. Which I also go over in my Udemy class. I'm not trying to be a jerk and punch that. It's going to be another 2 months before I get the class finished recording. I'm having too much fun playing with this stuff right now. You kind of forget how much fun and why you start something. And then you get back into it. It's like, oh, this was fun. And just insane because it's just having to cull everything. So you can actually turn chunks off and on depending on how close they are. And you are pulling still. Maybe we'll go over that. But I don't know. I said 50 was as far as we were going to go. I guess I lied, or I fibbed. I didn't intentionally lie. I didn't know I was lying because we're going to 60. Just to see. That's a good span. Oh, wow. I really can go have a coffee right now. Let's look at this way. Look away from it. Just look away. We're at half a gig now at 60. Wow. So, once again, 48 feet times 60. We're over half a mile is how far we can see. But, of course, we're at kind of consuming our RAM now. You know, we're half a gig. Won't be as bad when we release, but we are. And just forget, I mean, look how big this is. This is in half mile view span. Let's go ahead and drop our world and look at our frame rate. Poor frame rate. It's a decision you got to make. Like I said, just having the chunk detect how far away from but the problem is when a chunk is marked as inactive and hidden, it's not rendered anymore, but the update isn't taking place. So either you have to use the graphics draw or the GL draw stuff, which we're going to use draw mesh, not draw triangle. We're going to draw the graphics draw mesh. I am still including that. And if you're using that, you can leave the chunk active, of course, because we're drawing the mesh ourselves. There is no mesh filter object. And we draw the mesh until, once we get in range. And that way we can have, I mean, you know, you're definitely somewhere, depending on what kind of game. If you're doing tower defense, if you're doing Clash of Clans, you're there. You got a big old world. Are we still generating? Yeah, we're still generating. Oh, jeez. So you gotta, when you load, if you go with this method, nothing wrong with it. I'm kind of jumpy. My character's kind of jerky right now because of, we're still loading. So we're not even at a mile yet, a mile span. We would have to go up above, I believe, 80 to get to a mile span. But the frame rate is just getting slapped. Unity's crying right now, you know. Unity's based in where? Denmark or Sweden or wherever. Unity, there are a million Swedes crying out right now. That's what we're causing. You're causing Scandinavia to cry right now by doing this. Same thing with Unreal. C++, I have played with Unreal, and I am thinking about doing the same engine in Unreal, and C++ is not doing much better because the frame rate is being affected. Oh, we're finished drawing. The frame rate is being mainly affected by our span, how far we're trying to look. Bam, down to 30 FPS. Just as massive, and I am actually chunky now. I don't know if you can see on the video. Alright, we gotta try another level. I'm sorry. I guess I'm kind of sadistic. I just want to make Unity. I want to make it scream. It's digital. So it has no soul. We can make it scream if we want to. It's not alive. Okay, so that still sounded kind of creepy. I'm not jumping as fast here. 62. Alright, so 62 times 48. We're getting there. 5280, a mile's distance. Yeah, we're getting there. We're above half a mile now. Yeah. Oh, I got it selected. This is an unfair test. Oh no. No. Come on, select away. Oh no. I've done it. It's locked up. Select away. Let's jump over to the scene view. Yeah. This is going to be slow. So, how's the wife and kids? How's the husband and kids? How's your sister doing? How's the family? Did you ever get that new dog? Just some casual talk, some random talk over here on the side while we're waiting. Start doing horror sounds. This is just horrible. We hear in the news tomorrow the entire Scandinavian peninsula is sucked into the ocean. Did not really increase the ramp that much. Wow. So this is why, yeah, if you're going for the huge world, you know, you gotta. You know, I don't know a single user that would tolerate this. That's all I'm saying. You gotta at least have multiple chunks. Multiple comments. And therefore your comments gotta communicate also. I don't know, maybe I'll include that. It's another pre-pooling method we can have. If we had 8 commons out there, would increase our RAM usage. Most of our RAM usage right now, though, is the chunks themselves, not the chunks themselves. The RAM, that's staying the same because we only have one chunk in process at a time. That's why it's going so slow. So, with that in play, we've got to we have to realize our RAM usage, our memory usage is not going to jump by having 2 commons in play at once. It's not going to double if we have 2 commons in play. But it's still generating. 4 to 5 minutes to start a game is still trucking here. Oh, we're down to 22 FPS. That's hilarious. And like I said, you're going to have to not show chunks that you're not near. 18 FPS is having to check all of these chunks, and when all of them get generated, it's going to be worse. You know, we're at the far side here right now. You just bam. Chunks that we cannot see are affecting our FPS. Meshes, they're not visible but to us, but they're visible to the game. Therefore, Unity's having to check. If this was Unreal or got it, it would have to check. If it's in your view range, it is finished. Look at the frame rate. I can't really feel it. I'm not really jumpy. I mean, this actually feels very fast and very smooth for close to 60 FPS. But it's telling me I'm 30 FPS, and the reason is that's what it's getting. But we are close to. You're going to get no saved by batching. You're going to get 0 saved by batching in this procedure world. I know Unity was working on some of that to dynamically mark something as saved for batching, static to saved by batching. I don't know if they got it in the latest version of Unity, but and right now, another thing to consider is the number of game objects we have. That's affecting our FPS. That's another reason we have to go to Graphics Draw Mesh, which we are going to get to in this playlist, in this tutorial series. Get to a few of the advanced topics. I do want anyone taking this tutorial feel like have taken a paid-for tutorial on Udemy. We just surged on the FPS right there because we got closer to the other side. So the farther we are away from the edges, so if I turn slowly, and there you can see the FPS drop. So I'm closer to these edges over here. Alright, that's it for this. I'm going to play around forever if I don't watch it. And we don't have a time for another one. I'm just waiting for this to generate. It's insane. One more, we'll do 65. Is there any reason to do 65? Nah, it's not far enough. So the next tutorial, we're going to put a input field over here for the number of chunks, and that way we can test and have a button to generate, test and test again. We'll change the code in such a way that it'll wipe out any chunks we have and generate new ones. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. If you got something out of this, like and subscribe. God bless. See you in the next video.